Good evening, folks, and welcome to the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, where we will discuss all things paranormal. Hear firsthand eyewitness accounts from fellow team members and special guests. Now, for lead investigator and your host, Eric Vanderlaan, and co-host, Michael Del Toro.
What's up, my paranormal peeps? Happy Monday. We got another great show for you. I'm Eric. I'm your host of War Party Paranormal Radio and team leader of War Party Paranormal Research. And on that side of me, I have...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Mike Del Toro. I am a tech specialist and investigator with War Party Paranormal. And we got a special guest for you guys tonight, and we got a pretty good show. I'm going to let Eric tell you what we're getting into.
Yeah, so we got a good friend of ours, a lady from Las Vegas, Nevada, paranormal investigator. She's pretty popular out there. If you guys are on IG and follow paranormal people, you probably ran into her. And her name is Lindsey Paranormal. So we're going to have her on and, talk about her experiences. There's some of the same places that she's investigated. We've been there as well. We're going to talk about our experiences. Most notably in St. Augustine. I was just there last weekend.
Love that place.
Got some good stuff. So
I'm like a little kid in the candy store going in there.
I know, right? I feel like I'm in paranormal Disney World. I mean,
exactly. Well put.
I'm like running to the rides, like all the haunted locations. But, yeah, I discovered some new places and met some cool people, got some cool connections. Investigated the lighthouse. Might be another show.
I've been there, multiple times, and I've yet to go to the lighthouse.
And the dude lives in Florida.
I
don't know what's going on.
Florida.
Whatever. Oops. There you go. Florida. FLA. So we're not going to waste any more time. I'm going to start out with the intro for Lindsey, and then we're going to bring her on. All right. And this is for her upcoming video that's coming out on YouTube, and she's going to let you know how you can see that. So here we go.
The 1858 hotel served as many things over the years, some of the most notable being a doctor's office, schoolhouse, jail, brothel, a safe place for slaves to go as part of the Underground Railroad. Before all of this, it was also known to be sacred land for the Native Americans. Documents show that there was once a man who lived in the attic who was convicted for being an axe murderer and was hanged for his crime. During past investigations, there has been references to bodies buried in the basement, which by design seems like it could be a possibility. This has not yet been confirmed. Could a mixture of all these different energies be the reason that this is one of the most haunted locations I've been to? Watch my terrifying journey as I spend the night in this paranormal hotspot.
You're fucking kidding me. Oh my god.
I forgot to put a bleep in there. Sorry, everybody.
Oops.
But okay. But it looks badass, though.
No, it looks awesome.
Definitely
very well done.
That. Yeah.
Very well done.
Awesome editing. So yeah, we're gonna bring on Lindsey, and let's bring her on now. Hey, Lindsey.
Guys. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Of course.
So, Lindsey. So what was the location that we just saw, and where is that?
So that is in Kansas. It is the 1858 Garnett House Hotel. Right now, this episode is available on Paraflixx for people that have Paraflixx. If not, I do recommend signing up because there is some really cool shows and movies on there. But yeah, this was honestly, out of all the years I've been doing this was the most active location I've ever been to.
Nice. And tell people where they can find you.
So all of my links, if you have Instagram, it's easy to find everything on there. So Lindsey Paranormal is my Instagram handle. From there, I have a link tree. But if you want to just find me on YouTube, it is youtube.com/Third Eye Paranormal, which is my old team name. It gets a little confusing having that, but can't change it. And then I'm also on Paraflixx. I have a couple episodes on that streaming platform.
Oh, very cool.
Awesome.
Cool
Very
name, by the
cool.
way. And Lindsey, like, how long have you been investigating?
Unofficially since I was like young. I've honestly been
Okay.
into since I was like 5 probably. And
Okay.
then more recently adding in like the equipment side of things and filming my experiences. But yeah, ever since I was a little kid, I was so into haunted stuff, being at haunted locations,
hmm
exploring abandoned asylums back in Long Island where I grew up. So
Okay, that's what I'm going to ask you. I knew you were from the. I think you told me you're from the East Coast, but up in
yeah.
Long Island. So there's some cool places up there.
Yeah, there is. Long Island has a lot of cool spots. Unfortunately, I was young and I didn't probably have a car at the time to go to all the ones I wanted to. So I do want to travel back, but even like I haven't seen Stranger Things, but I know that show is
That's awesome.
based on the location on in Montauk,
Yeah.
on the end of Long
Okay.
Island. So there's like a weird Camp Hero thing going on where they used to do like government experiments with like children apparently, and I know people did break in there and like explore, but I never got to go there.
No,
Yeah. Have
okay.
you ever heard of Ledgeworth Village?
No, is that on Long Island?
No, it's in upstate New York, where I'm
Oh,
actually going to be heading up there with a friend. We're going to my girlfriend's friend's wedding, but we're going to make sure that we go check it out. It's a whole village that's been abandoned. It got shut down for treating people poorly. You know, it was like an insane asylum kind of thing, but where there was a lot of people with mental disabilities and different things like that. And you know, it was like one of those places where they did full frontal lobotomies and all that craziness, and it's completely abandoned now. And they were fully self-sustained. Like they had
wow.
their own library, their own doctor's
All you
office,
got
and
to say
hospital.
is insane asylum, and I'm there in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Long
man. But
Island
it's a
seems to
whole
have a lot of
village.
that. That's
Like
cool.
there's a morgue. Like it's nuts. So like
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to checking it out.
It's funny because it sounds a lot like the ones that I went into. There's Kings Park and then there's Pilgrim State. But when I was there, Pilgrim State still had like a very like maybe 2 or 3 operating buildings. But Kings Park, it's like an entire like town. It's there's so many buildings, like you said, like a morgue. There was just like it never ended, and that would be my fun thing to do when I was young. I would go there, like hop through a window, and then just like go explore around there. But those places are really really cool.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. Where was that one? Up there in Long Island area?
Those are yeah, that's kind of in the middle of Long Island. Uh it was kind of far from me because I'm like way out east, but yeah, Kings Park is where that really big one was. And the other one I think is like 15-20 minutes from it. They were close together.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. That sounds really cool. So
Yeah,
I
that's
go
where
ahead.
Levy goes from. I don't know if you heard of Levy. He's from Chasing Darkness, and he's from the New York area, and he comes down to Miami often. And I met him at Para Experience, which is like a Paracon, like a small one, more
Mhm.
intimate. A lot of
Oh,
Paraflixx people are going to be there, and he goes there all the time. You need to like talk to him, Mike.
yeah, yeah. I'll have to check that out. You have to send me that info.
Yeah, definitely.
So I have a quick question. I've never been to Vegas. It's on my bucket list. It's pretty far from here, as you know. Um, but I had a question because I was thinking about it. Right, like all those casinos and all the energy, like the positive energy, the negative energy, and you know, I know that there's some of the real well known hotels and things like that have had a lot of suicides that they kind of don't put out there because they want the business. You know, they don't want to talk about like the dark side of it. But you know, a lot of people that are gambling that lost their everything, you know, that commit suicide in these buildings and things like that.
Probably
Have you
drug
ever
overdoses too.
that as well?
Yeah, every casino is haunted. I'm telling you 100%. Like every so even the new nice ones that you would never guess have such dark stories. And I've spent years like digging into it. I've done like certain tours where like there's a historian and I pick their brain on things like if anyone knows Vegas, like the Wynn Casino, for example, is like one of the most well-known fancy, like if celebrities come, they stay at the Wynn. It's very classy. When it first opened, I want to say it was opening week, someone stayed there. They rented out 2 of the largest suites. And when the housekeeping lady came in, he ended up murdering her, cutting her in half, putting half of her body in one bed and then half in the other. And this was
Oh, wow.
never in the news. It was never televised. They keep all this stuff that happens like that a secret because they have some kind of like deal with the news. They don't want to scare away tourists with how much crime and crazy stuff that we actually
Yeah,
have.
exactly. Because all their money that they're making there is from tourists coming
Yeah.
in and everything, and they don't want that negativity out there. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted to ask about. That's wild. So, and then also probably in some parts of the desert, like on some of the side of the road, stuff like that. Because remember, like that movie Casino, right? Like where there was a lot of gangster stuff going on, and
Oh,
that was
yeah.
the deal. You go dig a
Mhm.
hole in the desert, right? So I don't know. Have you ever investigated anywhere out in the open, like somewhere like that? Like,
I've been to like Rhyolite, which is not far from here. I can't remember. I want to say it's like an hour and a half, but they have like some remains of like old buildings that used to be there, but it's really just open desert. And there's definitely some weird energy there. I do want to go do like a video there because I've just gone there on my own time to experience it, but definitely had some weird things come up while I was there. But I agree. Even under the casinos, there's a lot of mob burial land. Like under the Luxor, there's apparently bodies.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
They're all over the place. Like they're in the walls of buildings. You always hear these stories. Like I play hockey and I used to play at this rink on the other side of town. And when I went in there, it's funny. Everyone would make fun of me because I'm like the ghost girl, but I'm like I feel like this place is haunted. And then the owner actually told me, he's like, yeah, this used to be a mob-owned building, and we believe there's still like bodies like under the ground or possibly in the walls.
wow.
And what's your favorite place in that area to investigate?
Oh, definitely Hotel Apache. That's like my go-to place here because it is always so active.
Mhm.
It's a hotel downtown. It's inside of Binion's Hotel and Casino, which used to be the Horseshoe back in the day. There's a separate elevator that goes up to specifically Hotel Apache, which was sealed off for a very long time. And it's
Mhm.
still set up very like kind of original. It's very old looking. And anytime I've been in there, I've always had crazy activity. Like I've had nosebleeds in there, just like it's intense, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's funny that we talk about like Native American. Like, I think it like throws fuel to the paranormal activity. Like, whenever you do a location, like a lot of people don't know, like, right where like the locations that we investigate a lot have a tie to like Native American history. Like, we do the old Davy Schoolhouse, and now we're doing a bar that's haunted, and we've done some residential cases, and it's all in archaeological sites, like all cluttered in that one area. And some of them are burial sites. And I think that, I don't know, I think that stirs things up.
There's
Activity.
it's wild. There's like a little park, and especially down here in Florida, there's a lot of burial grounds and the little mounds and stuff that they would use to put the deceased, and obviously they can't build on them, so they turn them into
The
parks.
Fountain of Youth over there in Florida. It's actually in St. Augustine, but they have an
Mhm.
Indian burial ground that was disturbed, so they reburied them at the Fountain of Youth, which is like a beautiful park. And then there's just like this dark, like Indian burial ground in the middle of this beautiful park that is just they're just like under the sand now, and they have it like all contained.
Yeah,
And I
it's
heard that
wild. It's
place is
everywhere.
active too. I heard that park is active from what I
I
hear.
can imagine.
Yeah, like there's
Sure.
like this little park that we've investigated. It's just some swings and like a little like an actual park, and then you can see the mounds right there, and we've got so
Mhm.
much activity there. It's wild. There's so much ties to the Native American history here as well, and same in Nevada,
Mhm.
all over, right?
Yeah, definitely. Have you been to Virginia City?
Actually just was there for the first time. I've lived in Vegas for a while and I have never been there, which is crazy because it's like an hour flight. So I
Mhm.
finally just went there about a week ago. So I pretty much just got back from there. I did the Washoe Club and
Oh,
the
nice.
Mackey Mansion.
Oh, okay. Very cool. They're
Yeah.
doing I'm part of it's like a paracon. It's called Para Experience. That's going to be in September there. And
Mhm.
they're going to have like all these different locations. And one of them is the Washoe, the Mackey, the Piper Opera House, the Silver Queen. And people can go there and investigate with, there's going to be paranormal investigators from like all over the US.
I have been
And we're,
seeing a lot about that and like people selling tickets to it and everything.
Yeah, Paraflixx, they're like the major sponsor of it, and I guess they're going to have some of their people there as well. But that's going to be my first time going out there. So
Yeah, Patty Negree will be there.
yeah, she's always at the Pear Experience.
Yeah, but the Virginia City is amazing. It's literally like you said before, like a Disneyland for like paranormal
It's like the
stuff.
whole town.
Yeah. You have to drive up this mountain. Like it's just the smallest road on the side of a mountain. You have to go all the way up for like 20-30 minutes until you're at the top, and then it's just a random ghost town.
You flew into Reno?
Yeah, I stayed in Reno, and then for the investigations, I would just drive to Virginia City because it wasn't too far.
Okay, I'm flying into Reno, so I'm going to be going down that road.
Yeah, you won't miss it. Yeah, it's terrifying. Like I don't know what's scarier, the ghost or the road up to Virginia City.
Right. Well, last year they had it in Tahoe, Nevada, and we were driving back to the airport at 5:00 in the morning, and I decided to take a shortcut. Well, the GPS said it was a shortcut through the mountains, and we got nailed with a blizzard. And I'm from like Miami. I don't deal with blizzards. I can deal with a hurricane though, but I don't know. I'm glad I rented a 4-wheel drive because if
What's
I would
Tahoe
have
in Nevada? Where is that?
We were at the Tahoe Biltmore, right there on Lake Tahoe.
Oh, okay.
And it's right on the border of Nevada and California. Like you can literally like take one step and you got 1 foot in California.
Okay.
It's beautiful there. You should check it out. I'm
Yeah.
not too far from you either.
Yeah, probably not.
Now, you mentioned that, I don't know if you mentioned to me, but you have family here in Florida?
Yeah, my family lives in like Port St. Lucie, Boynton Beach area, kind of all over really. So I go there a bit to visit.
Have you ever visited the DoubleTree in Port St. Lucie?
No. What is that?
So
sound of it.
You're gonna love this place.
Next time you're down, it's right in your backyard in Port St. Lucie. There's a little hammock, a little park called Oak Hammock Park, and there is a 150-year-old oak tree that one of Florida's first serial killers would do some pretty sick stuff there, and we could have a whole episode on this. We have actually, and there's some stuff on my my YouTube as well from it, and it is extremely active. It's wild. There's people that still practice satanic worship and different things out there, and we got some amazing evidence there, and it's right in the middle of this little park, and you should definitely check it out. It's spooky, and you should look into the history of it because it's pretty sick stuff. True crime. Gerald John Schaefer was a police officer, and he was a serial killer, and he would pick up girls hitchhiking in his police car, and then take them out to the tree and do unspeakable things.
I wonder why that tree. Why was he picking that tree? I wonder.
So he had like a weird obsession with trees and different things, and it's something to do with his mental health or whatever. He used to, like, when he was younger, he would like tie himself to the tree and hurt himself and just like into any old tree. But I guess he lived in Stewart, and he was a police officer there, and he found this this area where there's also some other structures, and I guess it was just a good, quaint, hidden spot for him to do his things, I'm
gonna have to check that out when I go there in November. It's not too far, so I might as well.
That's perfect because it won't be as hot. We had the author. He did a lot of investigating on that case, and just like the evidence that we were getting was correlating to like the stuff that he discovered there. It was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, it was wild. Keith Rommel, he wrote like 15 novels, and like I think he did 3 of them on the Devil's Tree, and he really dives into it deep and has like some original crime scene photos and different things, and he
like
came
artifacts.
Yeah,
they're like collected. Sure. They go out there. Pretty wild.
Wow.
So that's definitely a spot you should check out for sure.
So one thing I want to let everyone know that Lindsay and I have something in common. She was just recently in St. Augustine, and I was there last weekend. So
I love me some St. Augustine.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like the haunted Disney World. But I know that you were at the jail, and we wanted to show you some evidence that we got there. Joe has been there at the jail there as well. It's super haunted. Joe knows. I mean, not Joe. Mike knows the.
Joe was there too.
I'm missing El Puma. That's his name. Big guy. He gives out free hugs. Doesn't charge anybody. Anyway, I don't know why I said that. But Mike, why don't you tell everyone like a quick like history and like about the jail, like what's interesting about it, interesting facts.
Yeah, St. John's County Jail is one of the oldest jails in the United States, and definitely in Florida. And what happened was Warden Perry, big old boy, he was like 6'something.
6'6", 350 pounds.
Yeah, big old boy. And he was the warden there, and he was in cahoots with Henry Flagler. The prison cells there that you guys know because you've been there are super small. They were made to house 2-3 people max, and he was cramming people into these cells. Like he was putting 5 people in a cell, and the living conditions were terrible. People were dying off left and right because
meaning that they were small was like there were 4 bunks, and I was inside it, and like when I stand in between the bunks, like there was no room. I could barely like stand there. I had to be like sideways.
I heard that they actually at one point had up to like 11 people in one of those, and I was just mind blown by it because I'm small and I can barely fit in there.
It was terrible. Just imagine, and in the heat of summer, and it's an open air jail, and like I said, just nasty. And the reason that he was packing them in there, like I said, and they don't really talk about this too often, but because he was subcontracting out the prisoners to help Henry Flagler build St. Augustine. So that's why he was packing so many people in there, because he needed the labor.
You think he was making a little money from that?
I think he might have been. So when I was there, I said, you know what? This is a place where there's people that are coming through here tours day and night. What can I do, or what can I say to trigger a reaction from this warden if he's still here? And I kind of said, you know what? I thought it was smart what you did. It was a good business move, like just trying to trigger a response. And I got like a wild EVP that said, like, talk to me. And it was just crazy. We got on an ST25 and you could hear it really well. But
Lindsey, ST25, Sony ST25.
Yeah,
you finally got some. You started getting some stuff on it, right?
Oh yeah, that's the one I have. See, I don't even know what I have, but yeah, I thought it wasn't working for a while because I wasn't getting anything, but I've definitely gotten things since then.
And when you get something, it's amazing.
Yeah, we talk about that, right? Like the 25s, like you might not get as many EVPs, but when you do, it's crystal clear, But yeah, no, for sure. So like super dark history. What was your experience there, Lindsey?
So it was really fun for me because so my family is.
Are you sensitive?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I'm more visual than like other things. But my family isn't into like ghost hunting like me, but they really support it and they like find it interesting. So I brought my mom and my sister on this ghost hunt with me. So that's going to be my next episode that comes out on YouTube. My mom was absolutely terrified the entire time. And I think whatever was there kind of like knew that. So I feel like it was messing with her more. Like the entire time she just kept feeling things on her. She was jumping, screaming. It was bad. But yeah, it was a good experience. The second I walked into the cell area, I heard a voice like with my own ears off the bat. And I was like, did I just hear that? Like I just walked in. But I was getting a lot of responses in like the male area. And on my Ovilus, I was getting a lot of like dark words, like angry, this and that. And I found it interesting because when I went to the women's area, I was getting some really positive words like friendly and things popping up on my Ovilus. And from what they told me, the women there weren't criminals. They would literally like pick them up off the streets and put them in that jail for like literally no reason. So and they were right next to like the psych area, like with the crazy people. So it's really sad for the women that were in there.
Yeah, and what's also really crazy about that location too, like any of our listeners that aren't watching, that are listening, it's there's an area where like by solitary confinement downstairs, and this is where they would put you on death row, and right out the window you can see the gallows, and they would actually make you
build it. Yep, they had to build their own gallows that they're going to get hung on.
So you would be sent out there all day working, and you were building the gallows where you were going to be hung from. So that's pretty.
And there was some torture going on too. They had like a little, like a human-sized bird cage, and they would hang you on that cage up in the oak, and as long as they felt like it would be thundering and storming, there might be some lightning, and they don't care. They just leave you up there.
Yeah, that's crazy. I couldn't imagine.
I believe the life expectancy in that jail was under 2 years. I don't think anyone survived for over 2 years in there, they said.
Yeah, you're correct.
So what was your first experience when you walked in there?
Like I said, off the bat, heard a voice right away, and then I kept hearing something in the corner. So I set up all of my equipment, and I was getting some stuff through the Ovilus, definitely some spirit box responses. I set up a music box in one of the cells, one in the corner, and it was like answering me with the music box, which was interesting. Like I was just asking, like, is this a male? And then it went to and like played a little note, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I was asking questions, and like it wouldn't respond sometimes, and then if I asked something like a yes or no question, it would use the music box to kind of communicate with me, which was interesting for sure.
That is so neat when you can get like an intelligent response using equipment.
Yeah, my family was blown away. They're like, is this really happening? Because they've never seen things like this before.
Yeah, I know. Is that real? But I was actually there yesterday. I did a day tour, but I told people what I do, and they're all into the paranormal. So I got to stay there, and like in between them going, like passing groups to the group tours, doing the events there, like I had a few minutes alone, like in between groups, to do like EVP sessions. And it was weird. I was in that cell upstairs, the double-decker cell, and the first EVP, which I didn't have time to make, but I was being sarcastic. I'm like, oh, Sheriff Perry, I heard he was a really good guy, wasn't he? And my response was, F that. And then we were like, we continued on, and like then I heard like slow, faint footsteps upstairs. And this is like during the day. And I'm like, what? And I go out there, there's nothing there. And we go back and continue. And then we hear one of the gates on the cells upstairs close. You can hear the metal clang, and there's no one there. And we did an EVP session asking, pertaining towards that. And I do have a video clip of that I'm going to play. And actually, Franny, one of our investigators, she conducted the EVP session. So let's roll this. How much is this for? That's why. There you go. I don't know. Play that again.
Okay, I think I just heard you right now. Whistle, we're trying to capture our attention knowing that we're going to leave. Was that you? Do you have a message for us? We're going to come back and investigate this place. I'll be back. You'll see me again. If you want us to come back.
You got clear as day. I don't know.
That was good.
Are you going? The other one got, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. So the cool thing about that is I had two recorders running simultaneously, and one recorder got the I don't know, and the other one got nothing. So that was like really weird.
So that's like a hot spot for EVPs. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to use my voice recorder because there was other people like in the building.
Yeah.
But that would be cool.
And that's the thing with the Sony SD25, they're very sensitive. They can hear like a pin drop.
Oh yeah, here's my stomach growl and all of that. I have to like my stomach growled.
You got to make sure you have snacks first.
Definitely. But we were only there like I mean, alone, we probably spent alone time like doing EVP session for like, I don't know, maybe a combination of like 20 minutes, and we get all that like in 20 minutes. Like I could
Like I said, the
only
second I
imagine.
walked in, it was off the bat. Like I heard something as soon as I walked in. I was like, did I really just hear a voice? Like as soon as I came in the door, it's intense. It's like a intense energy, just like trapped in there.
And for the
Yeah.
people that are listening or watching that haven't been there or aren't familiar with the show, it's actually really small. It's really
Mhm.
tight quarters. There's like a little galley in the middle for like a kitchen, you know, and then there's like a couple, like 4 corners, and then you go upstairs and there's a cell block, and right down the hall there's 2 bedrooms. There was the bedroom where the warden lived, and where his family lived, and they
Which is
lived like
insane.
literally.
That's weird, right? Like one
He
side was
raised
a
his
dump,
kids.
and there's
Yeah.
like death and misery and agony, and then next door is like all nice and cozy.
But the thing is,
like,
it's only like a couple feet away. So
It is so
raising
close.
the kids there, they would have
you
heard
open the door and you're in there,
on.
right?
They
Yeah,
would
that's
definitely
crazy.
hear all the prisoners screaming and everything. So I can't imagine what kind of childhood that
Yeah.
was getting raised like that.
Yeah, they probably definitely had some trauma for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And you know, another weird thing I noticed that I mentioned to Mike earlier today was like they had, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 pictures of Sheriff Perry like all over the place. Every single picture, and I know back in the days photography wasn't the best, but it's just weird how like every single picture, his face is blurry. So I don't know.
Yeah, and they don't really have many pictures of him at all. Like he wasn't a fan of I guess
Probably afraid.
Yeah.
One concerning thing that definitely happened though, I think my mom got an attachment from there. And
Oh, wow.
so
I
when we
believe
left,
that.
yeah, like I said, all night she was like getting attacked. Like it was like, latching onto her a lot. And we didn't think much of it. We went home, we were exhausted, went to sleep. We were staying at an Airbnb, and my sister said in the middle of the night she heard someone grunting. And
Oh,
she was like,
really?
what is that? So she got up, she heard it again. And then she said, my mom started screaming, help me, help me, help me. And she was having sleep paralysis. So my sister was
Whoa.
shaking my mom awake, and my mom couldn't get up. And then finally she did. And we're like, maybe it was just from the anxiety. We try to brush it off. And then the following night we made it back to my sister's house, and
Mhm.
I fell asleep, woke up in the middle of the night to my door opening and my mom just walking into my room, like towards me, and it startled me. So I jumped up. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? And then she just exited the room and closed the door. And I was like, that was strange. And then I hear
Spooky.
her talking in the other room for a very long time. Like I just
Mhm.
heard like chattering for like 5 minutes, but this is like 2, 3 in the morning. So I'm like, what's going on? So I went to the living room. She was just sitting by herself in the dark on a chair. And when I walked out there, she just started laughing, like the creepiest laugh you can imagine. So I was like, Mom, what are you doing? And then she just kept laughing. I literally went into my room, locked the door. I was so terrified. So I asked her the next day about it. She had no recollection. She was sleepwalking. And
Is
she
she
doesn't.
okay now?
Yeah, I called her and asked her. I'm like,
Mhm.
Mom, do you have any more experiences? But she didn't even remember sleepwalking. But she's not a
Wow,
sleepwalker. I've never, that's never been a thing for her. So I think that's something definitely like attached to her for a little bit.
that would have freaked me out.
Yeah,
Well,
it was so scary.
it's funny that you said that because I was talking to this guy named Jack, and he's one of the guys that runs the tours there. And he was telling me that he gets attachments all the time when he leaves that place because he spends so much time there.
Yeah.
Like he was just showing me also is like every time I get these weird marks, like almost like little scratches like all over the body. And he's like, look, I got them right now. I'm probably gonna feel it later. He's like lifting up this back of his shirt, and he's got these marks on the back. It's like just really weird. So
I would say still to this day, out of all the places that I've investigated, it's definitely one of the most active that I've ever been to.
I agree.
And especially even with the constant tours and people going through there for the historical tour all day, then they do ghost tour things at night. And you would think that like with all these people coming through there and everything,
I think it stirs it up.
Yeah, it could.
I think it stirs up the activity. I think that's why I was getting stuff when I was there, like in between the tours. It was just really weird. But Mike, you were talking about that you were, because we got some EVPs of yours from when you went there with Joe. I'm going to do the one where you were talking about, he said, talk to me. Can you explain that scene again?
Yeah. So basically what I was trying to do is like a little bit like think outside the box, right? Like, because there's probably a million people like going through there all day that are like, are you here? Is anybody here? You know what I mean? So I was like trying to think like, what can I say to get this guy to talk to me if he's here? And I know a lot of people hated him for what he did, you know, I mean, like subbing out the prisoners for labor. And I'm thinking, you know what, let me talk about that. Let me see if I can like kind of praise him on it and see if I get a response. So I was like, you know what, I thought that was a good idea. And then I did an EVP session, and this is what happened.
Here we go.
There was another EVP that we captured that we did not notice until we reviewed the recordings. So Warden Joe Perry was disliked for overpopulating the jail and subjecting the inmates to some extremely harsh conditions because he was subcontracting out the prisoners for labor to Henry Flagler to construct a lot of the roads and buildings around St. Augustine. With this information, I used it to try to see if I could trigger a response. And this is what we heard. Warden, I think that was a good idea. I know a lot of people were mad at you. I think that was a good idea. I know a lot of people were mad at you.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like
ST-25.
That was actually before I had my DR-60. Yeah, we were blown away like when we found that because we didn't hear it there. You know, we didn't find it until we got home and were viewing the footage and the recordings. But one of the other crazy things that happened there was probably the wildest thing that still ever happened to this day. I was asking like, who am I communicating with? And we got an EVP that we played back there that said, check the board, like clear as day, check the board. And we're like, what does that mean? Right. So like one of the historians that worked there walked up and I said, hey, if I came to you and I said, check the board, what would you think that meant? And she goes, oh, right there in the guard tower, there's a board with a list of everyone that was ever hanged here. And I was like, what? So I'm asking, who am I communicating with? And they're telling me, check the board. And there's a list of names on this board. So we went in that room and we started listing the names out loud verbally. And I'm like, when we get to your name, make a noise or trigger or do something to let us know who we're talking to. And as we were stating the names and going down the list, when we got to Tom White, the millimeter in the warden's bedroom just started going bananas. So like that was, and then we started getting EVPs or, you know, pertaining to that. So like I said, still one of the wildest places that I've been.
And there's a story behind Tom White, right?
Yeah. His I went downstairs and I started talking to one of the historians about it because I wanted to know, and it was like kind of convenient that they were just kind of hanging out there, so I could like run down there and be like, all right, hey, what's this mean? You know, and they would tell me, and then I could run back upstairs and go do my thing. And the one guy was kind of reluctant to talk about it when I said like, hey, what's up with Tom White, whatever. But he finally told me, and I guess there was a guy that went to kill his wife, and it was like him and a buddy, and Tom was just kind of like dragged along, I guess, and he was sentenced to death because he was with them during that time. And he said right before he was hung, if it wasn't for Eugene, this would have never happened. And so he was pretty upset when he was right before he was hung. And supposedly he's one of the most dominant spirits in that location.
Very cool. Now I have another EVP that I got from you. I'm going to play, and I'll let you explain it after. All right.
Okay, cool. I didn't think that we captured any EVPs inside the jail cell, but after we got back from our trip and Joe went through the footage and some of the video recordings, we captured this. Are you male or female? Are you male or female?
He sounded pissed. He was, "I'll shoot you," you know?
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
That one blew my mind as well. Like, and it's kind of like, you know, we weren't really set up like the film there. Like, we kind of just went and we were just going to do our thing. Like, so that's why some of the stuff is recorded like that, because we had our recorders with us. We had like a GoPro or whatever, but we weren't really set up to film. But yeah, that was wild. We were in the solitary confinement cell, and Joe and I went in there, and there was no lights on, and we shut the door, and we were just sitting in this dark ass cell. And that's when I asked, "Are you male or female?" And the response was, "I'll shoot you." I guess they didn't like that question.
A lot of anger in that building. You can feel it.
Oh,
Just by being in there.
I would love to like spend a night in that solitary cell. You know, just.
Does light come in there during the day? Because when I was there, I mean, it's so dark in there. But I mean,
no, that one cell is like on the interior side of the building, and once you close that main door, there is no light in that cell. Like, it's complete shut off.
Yeah, at night when it's dark in there, it really is
I know, and it's like, and you know, they have the mannequins everywhere because
everywhere. Oh my god, it drives me nuts. Once the places have mannequins, it drives me. Like the Washu Club has that as well, and the amount of times I know it's there, and I'll still forget and scream every time I turn a corner.
There's a place that we investigate like very frequently. We just did an episode on the Veely house, and there's like an old, like really like spooky attic that we get a lot of activity in, and they use it for storage, and they just had like a white female mannequin like up in the corner up there. They finally had to remove it because it was freaking so many people out. But yeah, definitely spooky with the mannequins.
Yeah.
And startle you if you don't know they're there, and you're like, what in the world?
Even if I know it's there, it still gets me every time.
There's another, like, they always do that in like a lot of the historical places. Like, they'll put mannequins or like cardboard cutouts.
Like, they're trying to make it creepy, even like if they're not intentionally. But geez, that's like the place here in Vegas, the one that they say is not haunted, the Clark County Museum. And every house in there's old mannequins everywhere.
Yeah, and when you're walking around,
you're alive
with the lights off. And you're just looking through a full spectrum camera or like a night vision camera, and you're like, whoa, you know. There was how many times that cardboard cutout get you over at the New River Inn?
Oh yeah, they have like the women's club at the New River Inn. It's in downtown Fort Lauderdale. It's the first hotel in Florida. It was built in 1906, and I don't even know who that lady is, but it's like this little old lady. Like, she looked like she could be like the witch from Wizard of Oz. It's a cardboard cutout, and like for some reason they switched the rooms up. Like,
they move it around.
Like, yeah, like it'll be in one room, then it'll be like next week will be the room next door, and like it just like jumps right at you.
I think they probably do that on purpose. They're like, oh, War Party's coming, let's put it somewhere else.
No. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I went up to the third floor, and the third floor are like all artist rooms. Like, they have artists that rent out rooms there, and they do paintings or whatever. But it's gated, so you can't go up there because, you know, it's all open. They don't want their stuff to, you know, be messed with. But it was weird. I was walking up there, and here I'm in the New River Inn, and Hotel California comes on. And it kept on going on over. It would stop, and then it would go on. Like, I don't know if someone was like trying to like play a joke, or I don't know. It's really weird, but
that place is wild too.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so, captured that light turning on by itself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Lindsay, we got a lot of cool places down here. We got History Fort Lauderdale. We do events there, and how they repay us is we get to because we don't. All the money goes to the museum for the events, and they repay us by letting us have the night there to ourselves.
That's cool.
We have the Old Davie Schoolhouse, and then one place that you're intrigued by, the Riddle House in Yesteryear Village.
Yes.
That's another place. And then some places down in Miami. The most haunted location in Miami, the Deering Estate. That's one place too. You got to check out.
Just not the Biltmore, because even though it's haunted, they don't want to tell you about it.
No, it's not haunted, but it is.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because when I went there, I did ask the front desk about it, and they were like, would not talk about it. Like, they were like, just like would not say a word about it. And then later on, like recently, I was looking back at my YouTube comments, and the worker that was there commented on my YouTube. He's like, I don't work there anymore. I wish I could have showed you certain places. This place is haunted. And he was telling me about it. And he said that they have to sign like a form saying that they will never talk about it being haunted to any of the guests.
Yeah, it's funny. Like we run into that too. Some places, you know, they just don't want anything to do with it because they don't want that stigma, you know. But
they change their mind after a while, though.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes
Old Davy Schoolhouse did.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes they look at it like, you know what, screw it. If people want to come and visit us and donate money, and then that's going to bring more people in because of the paranormal, might as well just admit it and talk about it, you know. But here's another thing I want to ask you too. Have you ever visited the Zach Baggins museum that he has there in Vegas?
Yeah, I've definitely been there a couple times. I've been on a couple different daytime tours over the years just because they add new things all the time. And then recently they added the nighttime tour. You get 45 minutes on the front side of the museum and then 45 minutes on the back side. And it's about 10 people in each group, but you don't have to stay with anybody. They really give you free reign, which is awesome. So you can go in any room, shut the door, just be by yourself. I went into the basement by myself and sat in the middle of the pentagram on the floor in the dark. And it's definitely a cool experience. And I did get some good EVPs there, which I didn't expect. And it was like in a very unexpected room. I got a very long EVP in the room where they have the bed from the Love Ranch, where Lamar Odom overdosed. They believe that place is haunted and they think the bed is cursed. So they have the bed there. And I was asking, is this bed haunted or is it demonic or something? And you just hear this long, like growling sentence after I asked that. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
I was a fan when he was the Miami Heat. Only for years.
But yeah, that EVP, I do have a TikTok. So if anyone has TikTok, my handle is Lindsey Paranormal. And I put the 2 EVPs from Zach Baggins Museum on there for you to listen, or on my Instagram.
Cool. I'll check it out as well.
What were you going to say, Mike? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say he's got like a lot of wild stuff in there, man. He's really got a crazy collection. Like I think he has like Dr. Kevorkian's van.
Yes.
Or something in there, right?
Yes, he does. That room is very intense. Anytime I've been to that museum, every time I walk into the van room, I get so sick to my stomach, like physically ill. And many people have passed out in that room. They have videos of it playing in there for you to see, of a girl who faints in that room and wakes up, and it's almost like she's seeing something in the corner and just screaming on top of her lungs. It's very disturbing.
Did you start investigating when you came to Las Vegas, or were you doing that at Long Island? You started doing it out there?
Investigating in general?
Yeah, well, with equipment and stuff like that. You had mentioned.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, so when I was younger, I just did it just by going and having that experience, because I am very sensitive to energies and seeing spirits. But I started using equipment after I moved to Vegas, which was about like 7 years ago or so, and just slowly adding things to my backpack full of equipment now. There's so much I have. So
I hear that.
Yeah.
It's addicting. Yeah.
So most of the places that you've investigated, I know you've been like on the East Coast investigating things, but you're more focused on the West Coast?
Not really. I'm always down to go wherever. My next bucket listing is definitely the Haunted Hill House in Texas. I don't know if you guys have been there, in Mineral Wells, Texas. I've been dying to go there. So that's definitely somewhere next on the list. But there's locations in like every state that I want to go to, and I'm always willing to travel because, it's fun doing local things, but there's so many other places around the country that I want to go to on the east, the middle of nowhere. Kansas has a lot.
Yeah, we do that. Like maybe like once or twice a year, we go out of state and do an investigation. This year I didn't make it, but they went 2 years in a row. It was to Waverly Hills. That place was pretty incredible.
That looks fun. I want to go there as well.
Yeah,
definitely got to check it out.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's always places in the middle of nowhere too. So it's like I want to make a trip out of it, but then I'm in the middle of a cornfield somewhere.
Right.
So there's that.
So like if you were if anybody that's watching or listening or whatever, or us, and he said like, hey, we're going to go to Vegas and we want to investigate somewhere, where would you recommend? Like, what would you say would be the go-to spot?
Anywhere? Like,
Mhm.
well, like
Yeah,
Kansas, like
no,
any
anywhere
state?
in Vegas.
Okay.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
in
'cause-
Vegas. Yeah. Definitely there's a lot of places. But I would say probably Hotel Apache, downtown Vegas, in Binions. I think it's just the most consistently active. Like anytime you go there, any room, it doesn't matter. Like they always say that there's certain haunted rooms, but really anywhere I've been in there, I've always had very intense activity. And it's always unique. It's never like the same like haunting twice. Like I've never like communicated with the same spirit twice
Mhm.
necessarily. But it's always like setting off equipment, getting nosebleeds, having a crazy Ouija board session. Like I've had it all there. And I definitely always recommend when people come to Vegas to check out Hotel Apache. Even if you don't stay there, if you just even walk up the stairs and walk the hallways, you'll feel it.
Well, it's probably like one of those places where it never gets old. Like we have a couple places like that, and it's almost like we've been at like the same location so many times. It's almost like you build a relationship with them. Like we can like they'll like say our names, like they know us here. Like we get some spirits are sarcastic with us, like, oh, what the F is he doing here again?
There was
Things
one
like
at Hotel
that.
Apache that did come up twice. So one of the first times I went there, I brought a psychic medium, and she kept telling me there's like a soldier coming through, and he feels like protective of you for some reason. And we just kept joking, like, oh, that's my new spirit boyfriend. And recently I went back with an ovulus, and soldier popped up on the ovulus.
wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, that's really strange. So
Mhm.
that was a cool coincidence that happened there.
Okay. Very cool.
At the Hotel Apache.
So we have a lot of our listeners and our viewers that are watching. A lot of them are like pretty much paranormal investigators, and so that's one of the reasons why they like the shows. We talk about stuff like that. A lot of our team members are here. So what's up, team? And thank you for all our people that are watching as well. Really appreciate it. We always get pretty good engagement. And if you want to ask Lindsey a question, throw one up there and we'll ask her. But I wanted to ask Lindsey, so when you go on an investigation, what's your go-to equipment? Like what's one thing that you're going to have there and that you're going to use?
Just my personal favorite. I don't really have a reason why, but my music box, like the music box sensor, I think it's just the music that comes out that's super crazy. I don't know, creepy. But
It is creepy, and
it sounds very ominous when you're just in a abandoned place and you hear that music box echoing around. But there's definitely, I feel like every place reacts differently with different pieces of equipment. Like I feel like children's spirits kind of tend to go towards certain things, while I don't know, it just always a different. So I bring everything and I kind of lay everything out and I see what tends to be the most reactive at that location. For example,
Is that the coffin box?
Yeah, the coffin box one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Franny has one.
Oh yeah,
one
they're
of our
so
team
fun.
members.
They're fun. But I went to the Mackey Mansion in Virginia City recently, and the tour guide told me,
there with the coffin box.
You're gonna love it. And the lady did tell me, she's like, oh, you have those little cat balls that light up, like the little motion sensor one. She's like, the spirits here love those. At the washing pad, they didn't go off once. I had them on all night, never went off. I put one on this couch that she told me I can use and sit on. As soon as I put it on the couch, it constantly was going off. Like it didn't stop. I thought maybe it was like malfunctioning. So I turned it off, turned it back on, kept going off. When I moved it out of that room, it didn't go off anymore. It was like there's something like sitting on that couch. It was interesting.
Well, that's cool that you said to me. You told me that because when we're there, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna check it out.
You gotta try this.
I must have gone like already like through 20 cat balls. Like I have to keep buying them because they like start dying on me because I've used them so much. But they're an amazing, effective, and inexpensive tool.
Very
good
effective
trigger object. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
Eric actually found them here at a local grocery store.
Publix,
in the
right?
pet aisle. Yeah.
Publix, it's $2.50.
I still haven't found them in any of my local Publix.
So whenever I go shopping, I'm like, I'm gonna go by the pet section, see if they have any cat balls. I just grab them.
I really like dowsing rods too, though. That's like a more metaphysical thing, but I really do like starting out the investigation with the dowsing rods because I feel like it kind of opens up the room, warms it up. is an easy yes or no kind of deal. So
Mm-hmm.
that's always a fun tool as well.
Well, you'll like our team. We're very diverse and eclectic. Like we do different types of methods when we investigate, like going all the way back to like
The spiritual age.
the spiritual age. Well, actually, we have Franny that she has the same coffin box. And one thing I wanted to tell you real quick, if you come back to Florida, you have to visit Casadega. You've heard of Casadega, the spiritual capital of the world.
Is that where they? Yeah, I think I have heard of that. It's like a psychic area, right?
Yeah, it's
Yes,
like a psychic town.
Yes.
And when you go there, you need to stay at the Ann Stevens Bed and Breakfast. They have a spirit there of a little girl, and she loves the coffin box to the point where, like, when the owner saw how that was reacting, she ended up getting one. So if you ever want to play with your coffin box, that's the place.
Really? I feel like children love the music box for some reason. Whenever there's a children's spirit, they're very reactive with it. I think maybe they think it's a toy or that it's fun.
Yeah, and like I said, or like Eric was saying too, is that we run a lot of different experiments and we do different things.
Table tipping.
Yeah, and like we do a lot of we have Earl and Marie on our team, and they do table tipping. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's kind of like
yes and no. Can you explain it to me again? Because I don't.
Basically, it's like a round, old, like antique looking end table with 3 legs on it. And what you do is, we have Marie. She's a medium, so she's almost like the conduit. Like I don't know. She has a type of energy inside her that can make that table move. So what you do is maybe her and 2 other people will rest their fingertips on top of the table,
kind of like a planchette.
Yeah, and she'll can get it to move to where it'll start leaning over, start sliding across, and you're looking at it and come on, people are pushing this. But when you go on there and do it and put your fingertips on it, you're like, holy crap!
That's so cool.
Like the first time I saw it, I'm like, come on, because I'm more of like a equipment type guy and EVPs, things like that. And I'm watching this video and I'm like, no, I don't know about this.
I got to do a quick commercial break for compliance reasons. Okay, real quick. Our listeners who are watching on the KGRA network are going to be going to the next show after us. But if you want to continue to watch, you can watch it live on War Party Paranormal YouTube or our Facebook page. And do check out KGRA Broadcasting Network because they got some amazing shows. They got Bishop Long. He was on Ghost Adventures. They have stuff about UFO, cryptids.
Yeah, they have MUFON.
They have MUFON. They have a show on there. It's really cool. So check them out. Got it. So that's my little commercial. Did I explain everything okay?
You did perfect.
Okay. Awesome.
So what I was saying, when I first saw it, I was like, nah, come on, but then when I saw it in person and I videoed a whole session and I watched it back, and it's just wild. It really is.
Where do you get the table? Where is there a specific table you buy?
So Marie, I asked Marie the same question because I don't know nothing about this, and she said as long as it
pulls her towards it, she senses something from it, and she'll just go with the gut instinct.
She said as long as it's a 3-legged, so it can easily, move. You don't want 4 legs and then you can't move it at all. So it's like a 3-legged small table, and she'll go to antique stores and stuff and just find them. She has a couple of them now, but it's basically like a Ouija board. It's you're using your energy, and it's being manipulated. There's some videos and stuff that we have out there on our YouTube and stuff, but it's wild.
See, now I want one of these tables. I'm going to be looking out for one.
Yeah, check it out.
You got to hit us up when you come down because you'll be able to do it firsthand and see it. So that's really cool.
Yeah, Marie's coming in November. So
yeah, Marie's a specialist with it. She's awesome, and
her and her husband
stuff, and she's
I would love to do that.
Cool stuff.
But yeah, it definitely blew my mind, and and we've even had public events, where people are coming out. And we'll say, hey, you want to try it? And they're like, sure, and they'll jump in there and they just, and they're like, wow, this is nuts. This is nuts. So it's Yeah, so we do a lot of different things, and sometimes we'll kick it old school. We'll break out a compass or something, or like little bells and different things, and we
Good
like
to
to
have
try all kinds of
variety.
different methods. Say that again.
It's good to have variety, like old school stuff, new school.
Yeah, you got to change it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, definitely. So we got a question here from Kindred Paranormal, and they want to know, who are some of your favorite paranormal investigators? Anyone you look up to?
Yeah, there's a couple that I really enjoy investigating with, and I've had the honor of investigating with them. One recent team was the New Reality that I filmed with. I really like their style. They're
They're very
very
cool.
genuine of like trying to get real answers, and there's a lot of people out there that fake things are very dramatic, and these guys are very down to earth. Another one being Brandon Elvis from Ghost Hunters. I've investigated with him a few times,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very scientific, and that's kind of opposite of me. I'm not against the scientific thing, but it's very interesting to see the kind of stuff he uses, like all these crazy scientific photon cameras and everything. So it
That's
definitely
pretty cool.
spin into the investigation, and I like that technique. I think it's really cool.
He's going to be on the show here soon.
Oh, is he? Yeah, he's an awesome guy, really good friend of mine. Very, very nice.
Very cool. Yeah, because we had Daryl Marston on not long ago.
Oh, okay.
And
See, I don't know him personally.
he's a super nice guy.
Awesome.
Well. But yeah, Brandon's just been so busy because he's filming a new
show. I'm very excited about it. It looks like it's going to be awesome. Very like historic / paranormal type of show.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah. One more, definitely Justin Spurrier. He's from Ghost Adventures. He was their tech guy, and I've investigated with him a couple times. He's actually the owner of that 1858 house in Kansas.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Very cool. Yeah, for sure. We actually had Susan Slaughter on our show, and she was like, she goes all the way back to like Ghost Hunters International, and she blew our mind away with the knowledge she knew. Like I was like, pretty amazed. I learned a lot from her.
Mm-hmm.
She was good. She's also on Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. That's a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's getting towards that time. So what we normally do is our guests plug themselves. Anything upcoming you want people to know about? Again, where they can find you, things like that. Anything you want to share?
Okay, so yeah, I have a new episode about to come out this Saturday on Paraflixx for those of you who have that streaming platform. If you don't, I do have a link to sign up with a coupon code in the bio of my Instagram. My Instagram is Lindsey Paranormal, as well as my TikTok handle, and my YouTube is youtube.com/thirdeyeparanormal. But like I said, all my links are right there on my Instagram, so they're easy to find.
Yep, and her videos are awesome, so you definitely gotta check them out.
Yeah, like that intro, it was like super awesome, like very good editing. It was like
it
looked great. It was very, very well done.
Thank you.
A lot of that work that you do it yourself, right?
I used to do all my editing myself, and I recently Justin Spurrier's son actually helps me edit now, and he is so talented. He's an amazing editor, and he's also a ghost hunter, so he knows what to look for when I send him footage.
That's very important.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I also want to thank everyone who came on our show and being so full of engagement. We're going to be coming up with another I don't know if it's going to be next week or the week after, but we're going to like change things up. It's going to be completely different, so you're going to have to watch. It's going to be at the Angry Warthog Saloon. We're looking to do a broadcast there live, and maybe we'll be able to get some evidence like right there on the spot. And
yeah, this is another haunted bar that Eric kind of came across, and we have done a couple of haunted bars in the past, and this one I haven't been to yet. So this live stream is going to be one of my first times there. And Eric, it was used
to be a former prison. It used to be a former police station, jail, and courthouse all in one. And supposedly, and before that, it was like a dump of a bar. Like some shady people there. There's been some drug overdoses, things like that. And then you got like spirits of the regulars there. Like we get Lance, that passed away. And it's funny because we were doing an Estes session, and we were getting Lance, and then like right there carved on the bar is his name. So that was pretty cool.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, because you guys were doing the Delco experiment, right?
Well, we did that too, but this was just a regular Estes method.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still want to see the Delco experiment stuff so I could see how that came out.
So we do the Estes method with a twist, with more sensory deprivation. Mike, you're the expert on it. You tell her about it.
Yeah, it's something that we came up with, and basically I kind of took and went full throttle with it. It's basically a cross between the Estes method and the Ganzfeld experiment. So, like, with the Ganzfeld experiment, you put ping pong balls cut in half over your eyes with red light shining at it, and then you would listen to white noise with noise isolation headphones. Basically, we would combine the Estes method in this, where I made portable goggles that light up with LEDs in it. So all you see is red, and then you listen to a spirit box, and you do it like an Estes method. And we begin some really crazy, surprising results.
Seeing crazy things. I'm not sensitive. Like I saw a shadow figure like walk in front of me, which is impossible because I got red flashing lights flashing in my eye from the goggles.
So it also, the original Ganzfeld experiment was to test ESP. So my theory was, like, if we can combine these two, and you're seeing visuals and things of that nature with the spirit box and doing the Estes method, not only can you see verbal, or experience verbal communication, but you could see stuff, visuals as well. I actually have like,
I want to try that.
We did it one time at this bar called Last Chance Saloon. It's like the last stop on the way to the Florida Keys. And I was blurting out words that pertain to a murder suicide that happened there like 5 years ago. It was wild.
And we didn't even know the name
of the boy, how old he
So
was.
you made those goggles?
Yeah. So Eric has my working pair right now, the first prototype. And then this is another pair I'm working on. Like, I put LEDs in here, and then I'm going to add a battery pack, and I'm just in the process of working on these now. I'm doing a giveaway right now on Instagram for anybody who's watching. If you, for a pair, because I want other teams.
I'm going to join that giveaway.
I'm going to make a couple extra pairs.
I'll hook you up.
I was going to say you guys should sell them, because that's a really cool thing. Like, I would love to try that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not, when they did the Ganzfeld experiment, you're going to a lab, you're laying down in a chair, and you're putting these ping pong balls on there, and you're using tape and lights, and it's like, it's not practical. This is portable. It's a battery pack. You bring it with you, you throw it in your bag, and you do your thing. So yeah, I'm going to make an extra couple pairs. And maybe I'll send you guys, I'll just send you one and just get it out there. I want other teams to do it. I want to see what they're getting. Like, if it's corresponding to the same kind of stuff that we're getting, we actually did it in the Riddle House attic. And we were the first people to let into the attic since 2008 when Ghost Adventures was there. And we got some really surprising results. Joe, one of our team members,
you'll be in the attic though. We'll have access to that, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, that's exciting. Good.
Joe is sensitive as well, and that would be neat to have you try it, because you said that you are sensitive with visual stuff as well. So this might
be amazing to see what you pick up.
Yes.
That. So yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll talk after the show or something. I'll send you. I'll mail you a pair, and then just whenever you film with it, just hashtag Delco experiment so we can check it out.
For sure. That sounds good.
All right, Mike, you want to talk about yourself, where they can find you?
Sure. It's been up here, right here. The easiest way is just go to my website, FLA-paranormalresearcher.com. And then I have a link to my YouTube, my Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, you name it, it's there. And then I also have a blog on there, and I have a detailed report of everything that I kind of talked about the Delco experiment. And I'm actually going to be in the new Unexplained news magazine coming out for next month, talking about the Delco experiment. So I'm kind of excited about that to come out. But yeah, you definitely check it out. And I got some of the videos of the investigations that we talked about tonight on my YouTube as well.
And I don't have much stuff as Mike does, but I'll do the best I can. So yeah, you can find my personal stuff at Ghost Hunter South Florida, and you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Working on a new YouTube video. I'm not like crazy about it, so I don't put out a lot of stuff, but when I do, it's something pretty cool. So and that was the Warthog Saloon that we were talking about earlier. That's going to be coming out soon. So that's what's going on with me. And then another thing I wanted to say real quick is that I'm going to be on the show. I don't know exactly when it's airing, but we're going to do it on Wednesday with Spooky Time with J9. I like how it sounds. So for all of you who know that,
a nice little rhyme to it.
Yeah, definitely, right. And then we're also, for you local people that are watching, War Party Paranormal is going to be having an event July 3rd at the Angry Warthog Saloon. So you'll be able to be a part of the investigation and maybe possibly be a part of a Delco experiment as well. And then War Party Paranormal, our team, or the radio show, we're a group of individuals that help people that have paranormal problems. And you can see our brand spanking new website, War Party Paranormal, the banner running across, thanks to my buddy Mike here, did an awesome job. And you can find War Party Paranormal there. You people already are on the YouTube, so you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
I also want to throw this out there real quick, guys. Anybody that's watching right now, I notice like sometimes like when I look at the analytics and stuff, it shows you like how many people are watching that are actually subscribed and not subscribed. A lot of you guys aren't subscribed.
Yeah, please subscribe to us.
Click that subscribe button.
Yeah,
that definitely helps. It helps us get our content out there.
Like and comment too.
Yeah, exactly. Any of that stuff, any engagement that you guys could do, shoot a comment, and I know you guys
just
are here in the live
emoji
chat.
In there.
Yeah, throw something out there, man. It really helps. I appreciate it, guys.
Definitely. Same thing for Lindsey Paranormal. Subscribe to her too.
Exactly. Check her out. Follow her stuff. Awesome.
All right, Mike, you gonna take us home?
Yeah, let's do it. Let me find the.
Good night, people.
Hold on, I'm looking for it. All right, guys. Thank you, Lindsey, for coming on. Is there anything you want to add before we sign off?
I don't think so, but yeah, definitely keep in touch because I'm going to come to Florida in November so I can investigate with you guys.
Let's do it.
Another show. We'll talk about it.
Yes. Sure. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Lindsey. It was fun.
Bye.